Hello, everybody. So I am going to take you down through the World War II. There's a lot of pivotal moments during World War II that was considered a turning point in the war. A lot of people like to assume that that was the Battle of Stalingrad, the invasion of Normandy. Some people even think that it was the dropping of the atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. But most historians agree, especially according to the National World War II Museum, that the most significant point of this war that turned the tide of the battle was the Battle of Midway. Battle of Midway was a naval battle fought between the United States Navy and the Japanese Navy on June 3rd, 1942, in the Pacific Ocean. The significance of this battle was to counter the Japanese offensive going forward. As we all know, one of the big things that happened was one of the only attacks on American soil during wartime, which was, of course, the attack on Pearl Harbor. This war was significant because the United States Navy was able to deal a crushing blow, not completely defeating the Japanese Navy. They were able to take out quite a few soldiers and ships, the biggest of which were the carriers, which Japanese actually lost in this fight was 27% of their carrier fleet for the Navy. I have a little breakdown of here of the ships lost in this. As we see, we lost one destroyer and one heavy aircraft carrier, but the Japanese have lost countless planes, countless sailors, countless airmen, and most importantly, their 4 aircraft carriers. The significance of this battle is twofold. So, for one, the Japanese Navy was on the offensive. They were heading towards our western coast. The threat of more attacks on American soil were starting to increase. I'm sure we've all heard of the hot air balloon bombs that had happened. Actually killed a woman in Oregon during this time. That was just the start of it. So the Navy wanted to kind of get ahead of this. Um, with this, sorry, let me get my bearings. So with this fight, the United States Navy dealt a crushing blow, as I said before, which allowed a very vast amount of manpower and equipment to be diverted from the Pacific front over to the Western front fighting Axis Germany. Um, we took a lot of ships that we did have. We kept a substantial amount in the Pacific Fleet to attack Japan on the ground as we did. But what we were able to do is we were able to relieve a lot of the pressure that was happening to our allied forces. Britain, Australia, New Zealand were some of the big few that were having issues in Northern Africa. By doing this, we were able to put a stop to the threat from the east that we were looking at in Africa, to mainly focus on the northern threat that was coming from Germany, Italy. Italy at this time was pretty insignificant at that point, though. One of the the main reason I focused on this fight or this battle in particular was the outcome and if we did lose this war. So if we lost this war, the potential for the invasion of Normandy could have never happened. D-Day could have never happened. We wouldn't have had the manpower, the equipment, the resources to be able to do that. And that could have changed the whole outcome we would have had in this war and in the future that we know it today. We have a lot of liberties, freedoms that we were able to enjoy in our everyday lives. Um, as we know, I am actually of Jewish descent. We know that would have been a big one that would have been affected with a religious persecution. And if this war would have went south, we could have seen, as this map, this somewhat blurry map, shows what the Axis forces were looking at this time. Um, overall, uh, overall, I believe this battle was a significant turning point in this war, the one that was not really, I don't think, is discussed about enough in everyday life. Everybody focused on the invasion of Normandy, Battle of Stalingrad, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. But at the end of the day, if it wasn't for this battle that happened in the Pacific Ocean, thousands of miles away from Europe, our victory could have potentially never happened, and we could be living in a very different world than we are today.